All right, so for tip video number 4 that I want to start, I want to do tips on the little things that you can do to give yourself a smaller percent chance to win games. So basically, you can do things that other people won't be doing that you can help yourself win more often. And how I want to give these tips is to give a couple of generic general tips, and then also go through all the characters and give tips on each of the characters that you can do to help yourself win more rounds more often, which will ultimately let you win more games more often. And each character has something that you can do that you can maybe learn or maybe practice or whatever, to help yourself win games more often. And the general tips that I want to give, the first one I'm going to give is going to be tracking ultimates and economy. I think my button is tab. I don't know what the default button is, but when you press tab, I can't really show you a perfect example in here because I'm by myself. Not really. But when you press tab, you get a ton of information. And if you played Overwatch, it's the same thing. When you press tab or look at the scoreboard, it shows the ultimates of the other team. It shows the ultimates of your team. It shows, in this game, it shows the ultimates as well. And it also shows the economy, which is the credits. So you can see how much money each player has at the beginning of each round. And the reason this is important is because you can see how much money people have and predict what guns you think they're going to buy. Most of the time, the way this game works is you either full buy, which is where you buy like a good armor and a good gun. You half buy, which is where you buy like a light armor and a okay gun, because next round you plan on full buying. So they do like a half buy so you could try to win the round with a little bit less money spent. Or you do an eco round, which is a save, which is where you don't buy anything. You just buy like a shorty and that's it. Most of the time, if you lose the first round, you're going to be doing an eco buy or a save, which is where you buy only a shorty, or you buy only a ghost, or you don't buy anything at all, because the purpose of that round is not to win. It's to try and kill someone on the other team, to hurt their economy, or to die so you get an ult orb, which is something that a lot of people don't know. When you die in this game, you get an ult orb. So during eco rounds where you don't spend, it's actually better to die than it is to live. Let's say hypothetically round 1 you win. A very, very, very easy prediction that you can make is that, let's say round 1 you win. An easy prediction that you can make is the other team is gonna save. So what guns do you think they would buy on defense? Let's say you won attack on bind, and you're starting out like this, and you won the first round. They have to save. What do you guys think they're gonna buy on defense? What's a really, really, really good cheap gun for round 2 after you lost the first round? Shorty. Because this gun can kill in 2 shots, and it almost guarantees a kill if someone gets really close to you. So let's just think about this for a second. Let's say you predict that they have shorties. Where are they going to play? If you're playing on bind, for example, and you're on attack, and they're on defense, and they're going to save, this is a really popular spot that people play when they're saving with shorties. They play these corners, or they'll hold like an angle like this. They'll go like this. So if you swing on them, they just go boom, and you die. They get a bunch of value because you're dead. You spent a lot of money, and they lived, or maybe they died. It doesn't really matter because they still get value regardless. So think about looking at the economy, using tab to predict what kind of guns that you think the other team has. And this can help you figure out like what plan you want to do. So on attack, maybe it's best to avoid hookah, which is this room right here. Maybe it's best to avoid that because they might have shorties. Maybe you should have your team attack A, because a shorty, for example, is going to be much, much less powerful on defense because they start right here. And like the best thing they could do is like maybe hold here, but you can wide swing and clear this really easy. So if they have shorties, you don't have to worry about it. They could also play like here, but the same thing, like once you clear this, you can work your way this way, and you can clear all these angles really far away, so a shotgun isn't going to be a threat to you. And the only other guns they might have is like a ghost or a classic, or if they're really dumb, then maybe a stinger or a sheriff during round 2. But typically, like at the high ranks, people save and they buy cheap guns. So predicting what abilities they have or what guns they have is super good because it can help you figure out a better plan to attack. This goes the exact same with ultimates. let's say there's a breach on the other team, and you know that he's been playing B 6 rounds in a row, and your team's like, all right, let's go B. But then you press tab and you see the breach has ult. What do you guys think is gonna happen when you go into hookah, which is this room right here? People call this hookah because it's like a little hookah lounge. What do you think is gonna happen when your team goes in here and peeks out this window? The breach is gonna go gratata, and your whole team is gonna get absolutely rolled by his ultimate. So predicting, knowing what ults they have is gonna help you a lot with predicting like exactly what play they're gonna make. This works for every character. Let's say Brimstone, for example. I know a really good play that I've done in ranked before is we would check the ults and be like, oh, they have Brimstone ult. Their Brim likes to play right here. Let's do a fake push to A to try to bait him to use his ult, and then we'll just go back and go B, or we'll just wait it out and go after. So we'll like all run mid, make a lot of noise, then he'll use ult and we'll run back. Because what a lot of teams like to do is they'll throw like a slow orb, and then they'll use the ult whenever they hear like a rush at the beginning of the round, like they hear a bunch of footsteps and noise. They'll use his ult. So you can fake ultimates really well by predicting. Or if you, another example is if the other team has a Viper and the Viper has ult and the Viper and they're on attack, and you call out the Viper at A, maybe you should send a couple more people to A, like 3 people here, 2 people here, or maybe 4 and 1, maybe leave the Cypher at B by himself, because you think that they're going to try and go A with the bomb and use Viper ult on the site. So you want to, you know, defend a little bit better versus the potential Viper ult or whatever the ult might be. The same thing is for like Sage. If Sage has ultimate and you killed someone on their team, maybe it's a good idea to maybe watch the body for a little bit, or watch for like a rotation for them to try and go res that body. You could play around that dead body, use it to your advantage, because the Sage might get greedy and try and res her teammate. All right, so that's the 2 general tips to helping you win more, giving you the slight edge to get better wins in games, make your plays better, predictions better, and overall just climb better in ranked. The next thing I want to get into is the tip for each character. I know we did a tip for each character video before, but it was very general. And this is, I mean, it's fine if we do it again, because you know, every little bit of information, I guarantee everyone that's watching this video right now, or everyone that's hanging out on the Twitch stream with me right now, they don't know every tip I'm about to say. So at the very least, you're able to learn something. But some of these are like super helpful, and they can help you win a lot more. So I'm going to go through every character, give a tip, and then hopefully that can help people win more games. All right, the first tip we're going to do is breach. Something that most people probably don't know, maybe most people do know, but a lot of people won't, is that breach ultimate actually boops people back, which is the obvious thing. But knowing this is really important, because you can deny people from defusing and planting bombs. So let's say you got the bomb down on attack here. The bomb's right there, and you're the only one alive, or like there's like you and a teammate alive, and there's like 4 people alive on the other team. If you hear the defuse sound, that's the perfect time to use your ult, because if they're on the bomb, your ultimate will knock them off the bomb. They can't defuse anymore, and it'll cancel it out. So usually it's best, like if you have your ult and it's a 2v4 or 1v3 or whatever, and you want to try and clutch, just wait right here for the defuse sound, and as soon as you hear the defuse sound, that's when you want to use your ult. And swing around the corner and maybe make something happen or whatever. Stalling the bomb on whenever you have the bomb down is really good with this ult, because it knocks them off. And also, maybe if they do a really good rush on A and you're on defense, right when you hear the planting sound, that's when you want to use your ult, because it'll mess him up. You know exactly where he is, and it's going to be like a guaranteed hit. With his stun,
30 seconds left.
Positioning based around what your abilities can do is really important. So like on Brimstone, I'll play in a certain spot on defense, different than when I play Cypher. Or in Breach, I'll play a certain spot on defense, different than when I play Sage. So one thing that you can do to figure out where you want to play with Breach, for example, is Breach is really good at A short, which is this right here. This is A short. This is shower, A long, B short, just for like general terms. A short. Breach is really good right here, because with his stun ability, you can go across the map. So you can actually help people at B when you're playing at A. So for example, if a lot of people rush through hookah, through B here, if they get rushed really heavily, you can put a stun in the window for them. That hits across the map and you can help your team at B, which will help your team rotate out of A a little bit better. Whereas if you're playing A long or A showers, your stun isn't going to be able to help the people at B. So figuring out where you want to play on defense or even attack, usually mid-map is really strong with Breach because he can help people all around the map with his stun ability. All right, so with Brimstone, I'll talk about a couple different things just like I did with Breach. The same thing with positioning of the character. Pretty much exactly the same as Breach. Brimstone is really, really strong at playing at A short because of his smokes and his ultimate. And these are abilities that he can use almost across the entire map. So you can help people all around A, and you can also help your teammates at B if they need help immediately. So let's say that your team is getting rushed at B. You can put a smoke in the window of hookah while you're playing at A to help your team immediately. It's not going to be an absolutely perfect smoke, but it can actually stall teams out a little bit or make it a little bit easier for your team on defense to defend, because you'll have the smoke like right here, right?
Smoke's down.
It makes holding this whole angle a lot easier because if they swing right there, then your team can easily kill them. This is just the same as your ultimate can reach even further. If anyone rushes hookah while you're at A, then you can use your ult to defend. Also, another thing I want to talk about is I'm pretty sure I talked about Crossmap Mollies in my other video, but I'll just I'll cover it real quickly right now just in case I didn't. But you can learn Crossmap Mollies.
Right here.
So let's say you get the bomb down and it's planted at B. You can learn specific spots where, like, you stand here, you go right here,
Molly.
you shoot a molly straight up in the air with your crosshair in that specific spot, and the molly will land perfectly right there where the bomb is. So if anyone tries to defuse, then the molly will kill them. So the best way to do this is once you get the bomb down, you have your ult on the site. As soon as you hear the defuse sound, you do that, and then as soon as you shoot the ult, you shoot the molly right after. So the ult will stall, and then the molly will land immediately after, and it'll kill anyone that gets on it. I'm pretty sure I covered that in my last video. Well, I do plan on making a Brimstone Molly guide or tutorial in the future, but I didn't want to do it right now because there's only 3 maps, and I think there's going to be more maps coming, obviously, when the game releases. So I feel like it's just a better thing to wait to give. But I do have quite a few Molly spots. I have one that lands right here. I have one that lands right here. I have one that lands right here. And just like all the other maps, I have multiple. Also, a new one I learned is if you walk like this and shoot up above, you can get your molly to land right here. So this is really good if you're like attacking a site. You're attacking B and you run in and you, like, let's say you go like this, right? You're in hookah and you smoke like this, or maybe you smoke like this. You jump out, everything's clear, you have sight, and you want to stop the people from A rotating to B. You can go like this,
Molly.
Shoot your molly like that, and anyone that's running from A, maybe they're like right about here, or here.
Right here.
This molly is going to stop them from running past these doors and going into B to helping their team. So it's a pretty easy molly. You just stand like right here anywhere, and you shoot like anywhere off like that angle. So you can even be walking, it doesn't really matter. It hits pretty consistently. Sometimes it can miss if you shoot it too low. But for the most part, you can get it to land a lot of different places. See how if you shoot it too low, it can land right there. So something you can do is if you're standing like back further, if you shoot like that should land off the wall and it should land further down. So this is another good one. You can get it to land like further down. Instead of going all the way in, you can get it to land right there because it'll bounce like off that wall or off that corner and it'll go right there. This is like another example of predicting what the other team is going to do before, like, when you make a play. So like you make an action, let's say you're making an action on B, your decision is that you want to attack B. So let's say that they have one person here, one person here. They have one waiting in their spawn to rotate. They have one here and one here defending. So if you push B, what do you guys think these 3 players are going to do? Let's say you 5-man rush B. These players are going to come to try and defend B. Maybe 2 of them are going to rotate through this angle, and one's going to take teleport. So you could have your Sage wall off the teleport. you have your Brimstone do the smokes when you first go in, to cover angles. Then once you take site, you can go like this, get that Molly down, clear the rest of the site, and if anyone tries to come through, they can't because they'll have Molly for protection. So it's always about thinking about what the other team might do depending on what play you make. And then you can be like, okay, if I think they're going to do that, then I can do this to stop them. So it's perfect. Next one is Cypher. Ooh. Cypher's pretty unique. So I don't play Cypher. I play with Cypher a lot because he's a meta character. He's one of the best characters in the game. So I know him well based on like playing with him and against him. But I don't personally play him. But that doesn't really matter because I can give you guys some good tips on him regardless. And some tips that most people don't realize with Cypher is that you can put your traps, not your traps. You can put, or not your cages. You can put your traps in, obviously you can put them in, wait, this is your camera. You can put your traps in standard spots, right? Makes sense. Like whatever, it's a regular trap. Makes sense. But you can also do some really weird traps where you like connect it like this at an angle and it'll be like this. And you might think like, oh, that's a horrible trap because, you know, they might jump out like this or they might jump out like this. But the reason these traps are pretty decent is because a lot of people, what they do when they clear, they'll like shoot the walls. If they know they're playing against a Cypher, they'll walk slow and they'll like shoot the walls. So like a lot of people, they'll be like this when they go to jump in the site and they're like, oh, I didn't get it. And then they'll jump in and they'll hit the trap. And then when they hit the trap, they're like, oh shit. And they got to turn around and shoot it. And you know, you can have some like really crazy spots like that. And there's a ton that are in the game, like all over the place. I don't know all of them, but I know I've seen them a lot because, you know, obviously I've played against Cypher. But all over the place, you could put traps like this where it's like angled. Let me see if I can find another one just randomly while I'm just like looking around. Like look at this trap. Like anyone that tries to like go like that could do something. I mean, it's most likely not going to do anything. But there's a lot of different angles that you can do with these traps. I'm not saying this one's good specifically, but it's about the thought process of learning traps like this that can be really, really good. Let's see if we can find another one. I guess like something like this could be really good. Let's see. Like this. So like this is a very non-standard trap. But what a lot of people do is they'll shoot traps like this, and if they run in, they might not realize that it's slanted like this. Sometimes they can be really bad too, though. But sometimes those traps can actually be super helpful. Let's see if I can remember exactly like another one where it's like slanted like that. I can't remember. Put another dirt outside hookah window. All right, let's see. Oh, there you go. That's cracked. Yeah, look at that. Like. See, like this is a perfect example of the one I was talking about, where the only way they can kill this tripwire when they're inside hookah is by looking up and shooting it that way. And most people, they're just gonna jump out the window and they'll hit it. So like I said, like I don't play Cypher, so I don't know all of them, but I know about these types of traps. And learning these traps can help you win games more often. So I'm gonna give another general tip with Cypher, which is gonna be very, very, very basic. Any you know mid-level player or high-level player will know this. But whenever you're attacking with Cypher, it's usually really, really good to put your traps on the flank. So let's say you're going to attack A, right? Your whole team says we're going to 5-man rush A. It's really good to put your traps on the flank because these types of traps give you guaranteed info. As long as you're not putting it too low to the ground or too high, then you're fine. So let's see, actually not that. We'll do right here. All right, so this type of trap it could be good because people don't realize that it's low to the ground. They can shoot it, but they could also be bad because if you put a trap on the flank that's low to the ground, someone that's flanking can jump over this and not alert you that they're coming. So you won't know. You'll see on the main map that your trap's still there, then you won't know they're coming, so they could jump over it. So for flank traps, it's really, really good to put it body level so they can't jump over the trap. And they can't crouch under the trap. So if you put it body level, they can't crouch under it, they'll trip it, and they also can't jump over it, they'll trip it. There's literally nothing they can do to get around this trap. They have to kill it, or they have to run through it. So it's guaranteed information, guaranteed value. So if you put 2 traps on the flank, if you're attacking A, there's absolutely no way that they can flank you unless they use character abilities like Omen Teleport or Jet Updraft or something like that. But there's no way like a Sage, unless she like walls up and jumps over your trap, but like that's like, why is that, would that happen? You know, that's not gonna happen. You'll hear the wall anyways. So these types of traps are really, really good on the flank for attack, for giving you guaranteed info. So that's good for Cypher. We'll go on to the next character now. So the tip with Jet that we're gonna give is we're gonna use some abilities to mask the noise of other abilities. And the 3 abilities that you're gonna need for all this is everything but the knives. So with Jet, when you throw your smoke, it makes a little bit of noise, right? But then when it lands, it makes more noise.
Blocking sight.
That's the primary noise when it lands. So what you can do with Jet is you can throw a smoke there. Then when that hits, you do updraft dash over the wall here. But you need to make sure that you're, like, obviously for vision, that is going to be the biggest thing. So you need to make sure that you like actually block like that. Then when that one lands, that's when you want to updraft dash and take on the high ground. And this isn't going to be the most crazy example. It's just that I don't really play a lot of Jet. But this is something that I'm going to talk about with Omen as well. But whenever, I know in the lower ranks, if you're a Jet player, you can definitely abuse this. As long as you're not like Valorant or Immortal rank. But like using all of your abilities together can help you get like some nasty flanks on characters like Jet or Omen. All right, so first tip for Omen that I want to give is ability usage for his little shadow step. And this one's going to be really simple, but it's just going to be like an example. Let's say that you're on attack, you're always picking mid, right? And there's a dude that's always challenging you. At the beginning of the round, what you can do is you could teleport across, and instead of picking from that side, you can peek from this side. And maybe he won't expect it. It can help give you the edge of get the kill on someone through B site. And who knows, maybe if you kill him immediately, you guys can just take B site off the rip. But this is something that you can do, like if you read someone on the team doing the same play over and over and over, you can just do a different approach by using your shadow step and peeking from the other angle. And a lot of people won't expect it because they'll at the start of the round they'll be watching this right here. But if you shadow step across, you can take an unexpected angle that people won't realize. Same thing for A, right? So on defense, a lot of people like to peek A long by the orb. And the first thing they'll do at the start of the round is they'll swing like this. And if they see that no one's here, they're just like, oh, no one's A. They're probably just going to go to B or C. They let their team know that. But with Omen, a lot of players don't even consider the fact that Omen can just teleport across. So he can just go like this, teleport across. They probably won't be able to hear that sound from there. And then you just walk across like this for free. Just be careful you're watching yourself. And you could probably flank the guy that is playing long without him even realizing. Because sometimes a lot of teams will only put one person on A site that just tries to scout information. Another tip for Omen, which is something that I'm going to get into very specifically with Viper. But you guys can do one-way smokes in this game, which is going to be the biggest tip, really, is one-way smokes. And if you guys don't know what one-way smokes is, it's putting a smoke on a spot that makes it so you can see the person, but they can't see you, which is really, really big. And one-way smokes are used on boxes like that. So if you're here and there's a guy like right there, you can see his feet, but he can't see you. So some really common examples of this would be, where would be a really common example on this map? You can do it right here on the entrance of garage. There you go. So this is a perfect example of a one-way smoke. This is where if anyone walks in right here, you can see them walking in, but they can't see you in this window. So this is what, even if you're down below, like this is what they see, right? Oh, that's why, because I was looking at it. All right. So this is what the enemy team sees when they're walking in. Oh, it fell again. Fuck, dude. It's so much harder on Omen. This is why I was going to break it down more on Viper. But you can definitely do it on Omen. And there's like repeatable spots that you can do. Let's see if maybe this will work.
Cover going out.
This could be a perfect example right here. Kind of. Not really perfect, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like if you put it on top of the door, which you can do, you guys saw me do it. You can see them when they walk in. You can see their feet, but they can't see you whenever you're in the spot. That's a perfect example of a one-way smoke. Let's see if I can get this to work one last time. There we go. Perfect. All right, so they can't see anything, right? Like this, even if they crouch, they can barely see anything. So when they walk in, they still can't see anything. And you can see them as they're standing and walking right here. So let's see if I can do that again real quick.
Cover going out.
So when you're right here, you can see when they're walking, but they can't see you. So that's abusing one-way smokes is super strong. All right, so the tip for Phoenix, guys, it's just gonna be one simple tip, but this could actually like give you the edge to win a round, which could help you ultimately win an entire game. Is that you can actually grab the bomb with his ultimate. I don't know if people will realize this. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, right? But I think it's something that most people don't realize. And even in Immortal and Valorant rank, a lot of people don't, they forget about it. So like if the bomb is in a bad spot that's being camped by the other team, and you're Phoenix and you have your ult and you clear out site, let's see, like you're like using your ult, you're clearing it out, you can actually grab the bomb with your ult, and when you teleport back, you'll have the bomb with you. You'll have the bomb with you. So if they're like camping it and you push it and take the bomb, the maps that this is really good on is bind. So if you're at like A site and the bomb is at B, you can ult, take the port, go get the bomb and hookah or whatever it is, and then teleport all the way back to A and plant. So this is a super good tip with Phoenix that could actually save rounds. And I think a lot of people don't realize. I think gun usage with Phoenix, I think this is definitely 150% something that is underutilized. Let's say that I know in Immortal and Valorant rank people do this. Phoenix players do this. Let's say that you're in a round where all you have is a Spectre and an armor, right? But you have your ults. So what you can do is you can ask your teammate for their gun. Let's say they have like a Phantom, because you want to use your ult. So you could start like right here and be like, yo, teammate, I'm going to use my ult. Can I use your Phantom for my ult? And then after I'm done, I'll give it back to you. So if he's a reasonable teammate, obviously the best play is for him to give you his gun so you can use your ult. Because going in with Phantom is going to be infinitely better than going in with Spectre. So you can like clear sight like this, and then as soon as you're done and you have it all clear, you can come back and you can give him his gun back, and he can have fun with whatever his gun is, and you can, you know, use your crappy gun so he doesn't feel bad about giving up his gun. And also, it would be worse for you to have the Phantom after your ult anyways, just in case you were to die in your ult, because you lose your armor in your ult. So you don't want to have 100 HP with the Phantom and make him have 150 HP with the Spectre. So that's like something that, two cool things with Phoenix's ultimate that can definitely help you win extra rounds in a game and ultimately give you more wins. All right, so the raise tip is actually kind of cool. I don't think people realize this, but you can throw your nade through any pixel that you can shoot a bullet through. And it doesn't seem like you can, but I was just messing around. And so like right here, I actually got a 4K doing this. I got 4 kills doing this. You can shoot through this, right? Like right there. You can also throw a nade through this. Anything that your crosshair can peek through, you can also throw your nade through. Isn't that crazy? So at the very beginning of the round, you can throw, like, you could be like this, right? You can throw your nade and look where it lands. That's perfectly where they start at. So if they start the round right here, the first thing they're going to do, right, is hold W, right? They're going to push through, and they're going to be right here. You could throw your nade perfectly through the doorway, and it can land exactly where they're at, and you can get a ton of kills. Like, it doesn't seem like you can throw a nade through that, right? But it goes perfectly through. And lands exactly where they start the round at. Yeah, so you can get a ton of kills through, like, unique plays like that, like getting crazy angles. You can do the same thing with your rocket. Look at this. Like, this is a pixel angle, right? Look at this.
My ult's ready.
Your rocket went all the way through that straight to the spawn. And if they started, if the first thing they did was walk through this door at the beginning of the round, their whole team is dead in the first second of the round. The first second of the round. And that's so unexpected for them to get hit by a rocket at the start of the round like that. Like, most people won't realize it, and they won't see that coming. So these are like the tips that I'm talking about that can put you over the edge, and it can win you a round that might end up making you win the entire game. And things like this can help you climb ranks better because it's the little things that help you help separate you from other players in this game. This is why like going into a custom and learning things like this can help you so much, because little plays like this, like it could just be literally just this one play could just help you win the entire game. This one nade throw or one rocket throw that could change the outcome of the entire game, because it might screw up their entire economy. Like what if it's a thrifty round and you kill 4 of them, and then they're broke for the rest of the game, and your whole team has guns, and then you just end up winning and snowballing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So like pixel angles like that, I don't really know where a lot of pixel angles like that exist. You can kind of make your own like this, right? Like you can make your own like this, kind of.
My ult's ready.
Like you can make your own pixel angle, I think. Maybe.
My ult's ready.
Like that's a pixel angle. You just gotta aim more to the left.
My ult's ready.
I don't know. You get used to it, but like you can figure out your own pixel angles, based on where you want to do it. But that's a really good one because you can start right there, and you can throw a nade or a rocket right there, which is where you start and where they start at the beginning of the round. That could be really big for Raze. Can you do it into C short? You can't. I tried to figure out how to do it into C short and I couldn't. The reason you can't do it into A short is because of the angles of the doors. See, like this is the start of the round. You could go like this. It can bounce, but like that nade isn't gonna really do anything because unless they literally rush out immediately, but it's not very often that they'll rush out of garage compared to how often they'll rush out of the defending door spot right there. There was other things I tried to learn, like cross-map nade throws, but the problem with Raze is that her nades blow up mid-air. It's like time-based, and these nades can do a lot of damage, splash damage, but it's not going to do a lot of killing damage. And the reason I tried to like learn this is because you could do like nades where you're like that, and like it might do a lot of damage on point when they're planting, but like that's not going to kill a lot of people. That will like break their armors, but it's not going to kill them. Something I did find out with Raze though is when you're throwing a nade while moving, the trajectory of it goes more flat, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about on MS Paint. So if you're standing right here and you throw a nade normally over a wall like this, it'll land right here, right? But if you're standing right here and you're holding W, like you're moving while you're throwing the nade, your nade trajectory is going to be also affected by the momentum, and it's going to hit this wall. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in game. So if I'm... Come on, tab in. If I'm standing right here, not moving, I can throw it over. Or if I'm standing right here and I'm pressing W, my nade hits the wall. Because the momentum of me changes the trajectory of the nade. Which I was so confused for a while, for like a few days or a week, until I actually went into a custom and figured this out. Because I was trying to figure out how to throw my nade over that wall, and it kept doing that. And I was like, how did my nade just bounce off the wall? It doesn't make any sense. And because sometimes it would just go over, and then sometimes it would do this. And I was just like, what is going on? Until I actually went into a custom and I, practiced it, and I was like, wait, hold up. Me holding W affects that? I didn't know that. Do it with jump. Jump just yeets it. Yeah, so it's like going into a custom and like learning these things can help you a ton for learning things. All right, cool. That's the Raze tip. All right, so Sage tips. This is a really cool one that I think a lot of people won't realize. I'll talk about 3 things. The first 2 are going to be with the wall. The next one is going to be with the slow orb. And let's see if I can swap team actually. Oh yeah, by the way, when you're in a custom, you can turn on ghost mode, and you can keybind it to turn it on. So mine's 5, and ghost mode is flying anywhere on the map. This is really cool. You can find like cool Sova arrow spots and like follow them while they're flying or whatever. You can get across the map really quickly by turning on and off ghost mode to fly around in a practice. All right, so the first one, is going to be a very common strat in Immortal and Valorant rank, where people, what they do is they'll smoke right here, they'll smoke right here, and they'll smoke right here with Brimstone because it blocks vision of anyone there. It blocks vision of anyone from heaven because it's on top of the box, and it blocks vision of anyone on site. And what they do is they come in with Sage, they wall like this, and then you plant like that. This makes it really easy to get a quick plant off, really easy to defend because your whole team can cover this whole space, take control of U-Haul. That's a very general strat with Sage that you can call with your team. The next thing I want to talk about is the same concept, but a little bit more at a smaller scale, and it's more of a solo scale. And that's that you can plant the bomb in this corner. I'm not going to plant it, I'll just shut it down. And then you can wall the bomb inside the corner while it's planted. And you can cast the wall and get on top of the wall and get up here if you want, or you could stay inside, or you could just do it from the outside too. I'll just plant the bomb.
I have the spike.
This is what I'm talking about.
Spike planted.
Or you could just put the wall like that. So anyone on attack that wants to defuse this, they have to break this wall to get to it. They have to break the wall to get to it, no matter what. Unless they're like Jet and they can like updraft over or whatever. But usually late into the round, people don't have abilities anyways. But if you get the plant down, maybe with Sage, you can do this, and then you can turn your wall while you're in here, and then you can put the wall down, and you can block it off. Another thing to think about though is if you put the wall too close, it'll break the wall, so it doesn't actually save you from the bomb. That's a really good Sage tip for walling off the bomb. And then another thing I want to talk about with Sage is Haven on attack. And this one is like 10,000 IQ. It's kind of similar to the Brimstone tip I gave with the Molly, about how you can predict what the enemy team is going to do before they do it. And whenever you have a play in mind, you can do something to counter what you think they're going to do to try and counter your play. Does that make sense?
Is my gift.
So let's say that your team is going to try to attack A site, right?
My ultimate is ready.
Let's say your team is going to try and attack A site. What do you guys think the other team is going to do to try and stop your team from taking A site? Let's say they have one person here, one person here, one person here, one person here, and one person here. Like, that's where they start the round. What do you guys think these three players are going to do to try and stop your team from 5-man rushing and attacking A? This guy is either going to, rotate through here most likely and try and go in. This guy's probably going to push out. This guy's probably going to wrap all the way back and go this way to heaven or whatever. So what you can do when your team rushes, like 2 seconds after the round starts, you can put your crosshair in a perfect spot to throw a slow orb that will land perfectly right here. So anyone that tries to go from B on their team to A, they'll get slowed by this slow orb, and it'll stop them from going into A early in the beginning of the round and protecting the site from your team rushing. So this is a perfect example of like, okay, our plan is to attack A. What do we think they're going to do? And what can I do to stop them from doing what they want to do? So you guys are going to go A. You think that they're going to go right here. You do the slow orb as your team is rushing. And this slow orb will land perfectly at this spot every single time. And it'll stop anyone from B quickly rushing into A to try and help their teammates at A. So your team will already be on site. This guy will be walking through a slow orb trying to get here, and then he'll die to your team. If you guys want to learn this, just go into customs, turn on all the cheats, buy the orbs, do some lineups, and you can figure out the perfect spot. So for this orb, you want to stay on this corner, and then you want to put your crosshair right here. So there's like a little opening right there. There's a little cut right here. You put your crosshair right here, right at the bottom of this this little cut. and this orb will land perfectly in that spot every single time. See? Same concept with Brimstone that I was talking about on Bind, how you can like shoot a Molly across the map to get to land perfectly. The Molly actually, I have a bunch of Molly spots. I have one that lands here, one lands here. I have Molly spots that land here. The one I have right here is you stand in this corner, you see this little white notch, you put your crosshair right here above it, and then you back up until you hit blue. And then as soon as you throw your orb or your Molly, it'll land right there. So that covers this, all of this space when you throw your Molly. So if you have the bomb down, then it'll kill anyone that tries to defuse. You could do the same concept with Sage. I don't have a lineup yet for this, but let's say, for example, your team wants to rush C and you want to throw a slow orb. You can like get in this corner. I don't have a perfect lineup, but you can like get in that corner and like throw an orb straight up in the air, and you can get the orb to land perfectly back there. So like that, I almost did it on my first try. Like I don't have a perfect lineup yet, but you can go into custom and you can learn a lineup where you can get like the orb to land right here. So if anyone tries to rotate from B to like help them at C, you can slow them down and stop them from rushing at the beginning of the round. If you're doing like a fast execute to push the site. All right, so there's that one. And you can do a ton. You can learn a bunch on your own. Whatever you want to try and figure out. Like you can do get orbs to land across the map in specific spots wherever you're trying to throw it. There's going to be two. I'm going to give 2 tips. All right, so the first tip I want to give on Sova is
my ult is ready.
utilizing the teleports on Bind with your abilities. And that's the first one is going to be I think it's very, very obvious, but there will be some people that don't realize this, but you can shoot your abilities through the teleport, and it'll open the door and go through the door on the other side. So for the first one, you can do like a shock dart. Let's say you're playing A short and your team's getting rushed at hookah.
Right here.
You can shoot your arrow through this port, and you can actually see what it looks like on the inside of the port. There's the door. So you aim at the door. That'll go through the door, and that will damage on the other side. So if anyone that's over here, it'll damage them. I think you have to do it reduced power though, because I think it travels too quickly. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I blew up too early. So let's see if I can get this to like not blow up so quickly.
Revealing area.
There you go. So that went through.
Revealing area.
That went through. See how this landed in hookah? So if you want to shoot your shock dart, that's going to land through the port into hookah and damage anyone. So that's a pretty generic tip. I think a lot of people know about that already, but that's how you can use the ports to your advantage. The same exact concept applies for, let's say you're defending B, and the team on attack has the bomb, and they decide that they don't want to attack B anymore. They want to take the port, and they're going to go through, but they're hiding inside the port room. They didn't actually leave. You have someone over here. What you can do is you can shoot your arrow, and that can open the door for your teammates. So anyone on the outside of the port can shoot them on the inside. So if they're hiding in there, you can open the door for your teammates, and that will be able to make it so anyone on the outside can shoot the door or kill anyone on the inside. That's another basic tip. Another tip is actually really, really, really good that is super underutilized and that you can help your teammates while you're dead, is that when you're dead, you can open up the map and you can ping anywhere on the map. Like, not only is this super valuable and underutilized by most people, but it's super helpful for when you have people on your team like Sova that have their ults, or people like or anyone that's alive. Let's say for example, you have the bomb planted right here, right?
Right here.
But there's like a bunch of smoke grenades like right here, and someone's defusing, and Sova has his ultimate. I guess he could see kind of where the bomb is regardless, if it's planted, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if you can actually see through walls. I know you can see on the mini map, but... Chris, thank you for the 33 months, by the way. Much love, dude. So he can't see the bomb through the map, right? He can see it on the mini map. But what you could do is when you're dead, you can ping it for him.
Right here.
And look what happens.
I am the hunter.
He can
My
see
ult
where
is
the bomb
ready.
is now through the map. Because you pinged it for him while you were dead. Super helpful if he has his ultimate and he's across the map and he wants to try and get a perfect hit. Or like, what if there's like a bunch of smoke grenades here and he can't see anything?
here.
While he's alive, you can ping the bomb actively while you're
here.
dead. And then he can shoot the ping and try and kill anyone through the smokes. And get kills while they're defusing. Super, super helpful. Now do the ult again and look at your minimap.
I am the hunter. My
Yeah,
ult is
you can do with the ult. Yeah, you can see on the minimap. But the problem is when you pull out your ult, you might have to line up. You might have to line up where the bomb is before you shoot. Whereas otherwise,
right here.
ping, ult, shoot. I can shoot immediately because I'm already lined up on it. It still helps a little bit because you can have your crosshair lined up before you pull out your ultimate and you can start shooting immediately. That 1 second can matter big time because like what if you call your ult, they hear it and then they start moving. So yeah, that's the Sova tips. Super helpful, especially the pinging on the map for teammates. That's more of a general tip, but that can apply to like your teammates whenever they're live or Sova ultimate.
Only 5 of them? Pity I brought enough poison for
All right, so
50.
the one tip I want to give on Viper is with one-way smokes. And just like we talked about with Omen earlier, one-way smokes are super, super good for abusing spots to where you can see the enemy, but they can't see you. And one-way smokes that you can do with Viper is...
My ultimate is ready.
you can actually put your... You can put your little smoke thing right here. And whenever you activate it, whenever you activate it,
Poison orb emitting.
that turns into a one-way to where you can see anyone that runs right here, but they can't see you. If they try to walk up right here, they can't see you. It's not possible for them to see you unless they crouch. But even then, it's like you already saw them before they crouched anyways, so you can just kill them through your smoke. To do this smoke, you just need to like get into a lineup. Then
Poison orb emitting.
wait, how do I
Poison's off.
grab this? Grab. There you go. To do this lineup, you just got to like figure out a spot. I don't play Viper often. This is what I've seen from other players, specifically C910s. This is something that he does on Viper. But you can like get into a spot and then like stand specifically to where you want it to land. There you go. That's easy. You just stand right here, bounce it off that, and it'll land perfectly right there every time. So now anytime you want to do a one-way smoke,
Poison orb emitting.
boom. Easy. This right here will help you win split 50% more than you already do. I promise you. Like plays like this in the low ranks are insanely good. Super, super good.
Poison's off.
And you can learn this all over the place. Like you can learn, let me see if I can grab this real quick. Another one you could do, like, you could probably get it to land right here. Maybe. It might be able to land right there. There you go. There's another one.
Poison orb emitting.
There's another one-way smoke. Anyone that's in there on the orb, they can't see you, but you can see them. There's another. I just found another one-way smoke in like 2 seconds. It's like they might be able to see you a little bit, but if you're standing on top of the staircase, it's going to be a lot harder for them to see you than it is for you to see them. Super, super helpful. One-way smokes can make it so much easier to win games. And they're all over the place. Like I know on Bind, you can do some at A short. Anywhere there's a box, like anywhere like there's like a box like this, I think you can do one-way smokes.
Poison orb emitting.
Yep, this is another one-way smoke. So anyone that is anyone that's down here is gonna see the person that's right there before the person right there sees you. So this might not apply to like a lot of situations, this spot specifically,
Poison's off.
but it's just more about the thought process of finding those useful spots. That one that we showed earlier is super good though. Like this one right here,
Here.
insanely good. Just go in this corner, stand right here, bounce it off that wall, and it'll land right there where you want it. You guys know what I'm talking about though. I just did it. So another thing you can do is with the Sage wall. I don't know, or Viper wall. I don't know any specific ones, but you can like set up walls across the map to where it perfectly blocks off like heaven, or like whatever. Like it lets your team enter the site or lets your team defend the site easier. But these are things that you can go into custom and figure out yourself. I don't play a lot of Viper. It's one of the few characters I don't play. But I know for sure one-way smokes like that, super helpful. So if you play Viper, you should definitely learn those and utilize those. But anyways, that's all the tips for this video. I talked about an hour and a half straight on stream. If you guys want to watch my stream, I stream at twitch.tv/PvPX 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, every single day. And currently we're Immortal 2 rank. And we're kind of just, you know, chilling, taking it easy, having fun. If you guys want to come from the YouTube, say hi. I'd appreciate it. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you guys come back for the next one. Peace.